Hey YouTubes. Today's subject of the Monday Magic is hunger. When I was a kid, it was in my belly, tearing at my stomach. I used to eat raw potatoes straight out of the bag. I was so hungry. Uh, if you've ever eaten a raw potato, it's not a happy thing to do. I used to eat them skin and all. I was hungry. And it's one thing to eat the skin off a baked potato, but when you eat a raw skin off a raw potato, it tears up your stomach. And I used to have to cut the skin off, and I'd say, fuck it, I'd eat the skin anyway. I was that hungry. Um, I just tore my throat up after 3 of those, and it was just to get something to eat, because, a lot of people, they have trouble paying the bills, and I don't know if it was my family's mismanaging their money or what, but hunger is prevalent in today's society everywhere we go. Now, I'm not saying America is a great country. That's the last thing I'm saying. But I'm saying hunger is a terrible thing, and it affects a lot of people. And they go to these food banks. At least, I've seen people go to these food banks, and they're treated as second-class citizens. Not at the food banks, but to everybody that sees these food banks. They say, oh, well, those are poor people. Well, they're not all poor people. Some of them are disabled, have trouble walking even. Some of them can't hold a job due to mental illness. And they just generally have a hard time standing in society on their own 2 feet. Now, am I saying that it's a terrible thing? Yes. Now, what I'm trying to get at is these people are viewed as a second-class citizen. And now, why is that? It's because they can't function in society very well. And I wonder why people view people not functioning in society very well as sort of a second-class citizen. In a sense, they are a second-class citizen. They're not really contributing anything. They're just doing what they have to survive. Now, some of these people can't help it. Like I said, they were disabled. Some of these people can. But some of these people aren't given the opportunities. Some people, they are put in a place when they are born, and they don't know how to get out of it. And I feel for these people. And now in other countries, like in Ethiopia and whatnot, the ground has just been farmed improperly. And they don't know how to farm it properly, or there's not enough rains, or all sorts of factors go into that, and they're hungry. And just hunger, it just hurts a lot of people. And we have the technology. We don't have the money, but we have the technology to feed all these people. Now, wouldn't it be funny if there was no money in today's society? That's all I'm saying. Money is debt. Think about it. The banks make money out of nothing. Think about this. They loan you money for your house, right? And then they get interest on doing nothing but loaning you money. Where does that money come from? Like, they give you $2. Not saying they're giving you $2, but hypothetically speaking, they give you $2 and they charge you a 10% interest rate on that, whatever, and you're not able to pay it off. This is just a small sum, whatever. Anyway, they get money back from making no money at all, see? And they use it to pay their employees and whatnot, and their employees, it's all interest that's causing the inflation in today's society. Now, I'm not saying banks are evil. Banks are a wonderful thing, but I think we should try to stop having deficit spending so much. Even America has deficit spending up the wazoo, and I don't agree with that. How can you expect a normal society to spend within their means when their own government isn't spending within their means? Now, I don't know how taxation works. I'm not exactly into all that politics stuff, but back to the subject of hunger and the subject of second-class citizens. How did they become second-class citizens? Like I said, they were disabled. And I don't think we should look down on these people even though they are second-class citizens, which I will agree with you, they probably are second-class citizens. But does that make you better than them? They're still people, they're still humans, They're struggling, and you should try to help them as best you can. If they're disabled, and they're going to these food banks, you shouldn't try to say, oh, well, this person, he's crippled, and I should feel sorry for him and give him food. You should give him food, but you should also try and make some sort of work training exercise for them so that they can be able to work in a way that they are able to. You know, I mean, you can't rightly expect somebody that has 2 legs lost due to diabetes work in a factory now, can you? You know, I mean, these people are probably older, an older generation, of course, so they don't know how to use computers. Oh, why doesn't welfare have computer classes for these people? I don't know, it just doesn't make sense why they don't have that. For the people who have anger management problems and they get fired from every job they're at because they're just angry at the customers, angry at their boss and whatnot, the government, I think, should have counseling services available for them. It just doesn't make sense that we just kick these people to the curb and say, well, these people suck, we're not going to help them, except for handing them out free food. You need to help these people another way. You need to help them by giving them, it's the old adage, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. We need to teach these people how to fish. Now, I'm not saying, it's going to be easy. I'm not saying it's going to be cheap. But it's something that we need to look into, because if we don't, we're going to have this problem constantly in our lives in today's modern society. Now, working on the people in the developing countries, we need to actually pour not money in for food and whatnot, but for technology for them to actually grow their own food. Heck, even hydroponics would be a better step than just giving them gruel. I'm all for keeping them alive, but keeping them alive is not necessarily a blessing. I mean, some of these people have horrible lives, and they love their lives, they love their children, but they're not getting the help they need because the help they need is so small and so ineffective that it can't reach everybody, and not everybody is healthy. And so if we can get the technology to them to grow their own food and to make their life better, today's society would be a whole lot better. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be utopian, but we can get there if we just get out of our rut, Now, I'm not a fan of big government. That's the last thing I want. Big government is not what I'm looking forward to. I do not appreciate big government because all it does is pass laws. Now, big government has its place, but we need to rely on scientists, engineers, and psychologists to be able to come up with the actual things we need in our daily lives. Like I stated in the last Sunday's Sacrilege, what politician has actually made your daily life better? They haven't made light bulbs, they haven't made cameras, they haven't made cars, they haven't even made TV. TV's outdated now, we have the internet. But, oh yeah, Al Gore, he created the internet. No, he didn't. I don't think he did. If he did, he has to be some sort of time-traveling wizard, okay? But the whole point I'm trying to get at is I don't like politicians, and, they shouldn't have so much control over our daily life. We need to put the power back to, well, it's never been in the right hands. First of all, we need to put the power into the right hands, into the scientists, into the engineers, and into the psychologists, because they can actually build a society that we need, not the politicians. Well, I ran out of cigarette, so till we meet again, YouTubes.